In today's episode, I'll be giving my review and reaction to the 2003 film Mystic River. So, yeah, we definitely have some thoughts on Mystic River. Let's just don't jump right into it.
Do something, man. People are questioning you. Shut up. Shut up.
Okay, yep, do that. Sure, guys. Stupid and dumb. Just an idiot. Get your shit together, son. Fuck it. I loved it. Welcome to the DubCast. Mystic River is a adaptation from a book, which I definitely will not be annoying about throughout the entire duration of this review. It is a neo-noir mystery drama. Now, what does neo-noir mean? I genuinely don't even know what that means. I know it's kind of like maybe something dark. When I see neo noir, all I think of is just the city of New Orleans. I don't know why. Feels like something that's there. Pretty clean runtime, 2 hours and 18 minutes. Definitely doesn't feel that long. The director is Clint Eastwood, and I gotta say, I'm kind of surprised that Clint Eastwood directed this movie because the other movies I've seen from him, Gran Torino, The Mule, and Unforgiven, have all been kind of the same thing. And also, he's been in all the movies that he's directed. He's been in obviously Gran Torino, The Mule, and Unforgiven. Now, I am a Gran Torino supporter. We support Gran Torino on this channel. Um, that being said, The Mule was a miss, and Unforgiven was pretty boring in my opinion. Well, I gave it like a 6. It was okay. So, you know, we had some expectations coming into this because a couple friends said, you got to see Mystic River, you got to see Mystic River. And before I went on a cruise, I actually was in the library. Now, I know your boy's reading in 2025, crazy. Maybe I should start doing some book reviews. I thought about doing a couple book reviews. Um, but I was like, you know what? They said to check out the movie, and hot take, y'all ain't gonna like me for this. The book's always better than the movie. So I read the book. Book was amazing. Was on the edge of my seat, had to finish reading it I remember where I was reading the ending on the pool deck in a reclining, relaxing chair. Now it's like 40 degrees out. Nonetheless, I like the book a lot of Mystic River. So going into the movie, it's almost like a disservice to the movie because the book is way more detailed, and I had the same experience with the town where I read the book first and then watched the movie, and it feels like going from movie to book or going from book to movie, there are less details in the movie, and it just kind of frustrates you. Like, oh, they should have done that. They should have done that. Whereas I think if you did an inverse, where you watch the movie and then read the book, you're like, oh, the book was a little bit better. There was a little more detail. I don't remember that happening in the movie. So this is a hard review for me to give, man, because I will say the book is better. Some people think that I'm a clown for having that take on anything, but it is what it is. Yes, us Gen Zers are still reading, so I got y'all out there. Now, this movie is featuring Sean Penn, which is a surprising choice given, I thought Al Pacino would be the perfect role for Jimmy. Granted, I know Al Pacino's budget's probably a lot higher than Sean Penn's, and, I actually watched this movie a little bit ago, right before I saw One Battle After Another. You know, we've had a whole thing going on with the computers and reviews and stuff. So my bad on that. We're back in the movie game. Dubcast is back, nonetheless. Sean Penn, don't really care about him, and to be honest, don't really have any opinions. Tim Robbins, I like Tim Robbins in Shawshank. I believe he's the main character in Shawshank. If I'm wrong, I'm gonna get killed for that, but I don't care. He's a decent actor, and actually, I think he's probably the best performing actor in this movie. And then you have Kevin Bacon, who I thought was an interesting selection for the role of Sean, but I think he did a good enough job with it. One of my favorite casting decisions on this movie was Lawrence Fishburne as Whitey, and Whitey's not really all that relevant in the book, but Lawrence Fishburne, I'm starting to grow an appreciation for Lawrence Fishburne. I just want to watch him in as many movies as possible where he's like this side cop or like this boss cop, like not boss as in like cool boss, but like direct superior type boss. I feel like Lawrence Fishburne killed this role. I actually really enjoyed him in this movie. Marcia Gay Harden and Laura Linney round out the cast. Always interesting to see Laura Linney in something because she'll always be Wendy from Ozark in my mind. So yeah, I thought this movie was pretty good. Um, I don't know. It fell kind of flat of my expectations. Like I was expecting to give this a 9 or something like that, high eights. We'll see what I end up giving it, but yeah, I mean, I feel like the book was just more detailed, so it's hard to really give this movie a fair shake. And I think I still gave it a fair score for what it was, but I don't know. It felt like there was lacking some details, and people love the scene of Jim. We'll get to it, but people love this one scene that I didn't feel any like real emotion. Like I felt emotion towards him, but not this like, oh, Sean Penn's a crazy actor, blah 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 blah. I didn't really get that. But let's get into my thoughts and reactions from Mystic River. So starting out the movie, we have the classic kids are playing on the street, and they're a little bit older than I thought they would than what I read in the book. Like, I'm sorry, I warned you I was going to be annoying about the book, but I feel like they're a little bit older, and they're probably like 8 or 9 or 10 or 11 or something. And isn't this a little bit suspect when especially this evil ass actor, the guy who plays Rawls in The Wire, and who is he in? He's in Gotham. He's like a dick in Gotham too. When you see this guy on screen, it's never for something good. I've never seen him do like a positive role. Which respect to him, he's great at being like kind of an asshole. But you're in the street, farting around, and I forget the action that happened in the book that gets Dave taken away by the cops. But they're just drawing in the cement like they're just dumb kids. You're gonna, I don't know. I don't want to hate too much on the kids, but like this is what we're doing. We're gonna get taken. You're really gonna get arrested and have to take a ride downtown with a cop because you put your finger in. It's like I don't know. I guess they're naive. They're dumb. They're kids, but isn't this a little bit suspect? And especially when your dads are out back shooting the shit. Like, hey, maybe I should tell my dads that we're gonna get about to get taken away. I don't know. And so yeah, that starts the whole Dave arc, which I think they missed a big part of the Dave story. I remember when in the book, he had a party for when they all came back, or when he came back and was rescued. And they obviously they can't really show much of the stuff that goes on with him, but I don't know. I feel like there's a little more depth there in the book. Now, an interesting little layer to this movie as well is this woman police officer who wants to go out for drinks with Sean after they are making an arrest on a scene. But I think this was kind of just a hard launch into the whole Lauren of it all, and it's fine. But like we're just jumping the gun. That means that she wants to fuck him because they want to go get drinks together. I mean, it doesn't always have to be that deep. I think a lot of coworkers, I know there's a lot of actions that take place in the workplace. Um, HR, call HR, but I don't know. Feels like a very weird way to introduce that sort of long distance relationship. And well, not even long distance, just the weirdness of the relationship with Lauren. I feel like that was hard to encapsulate in the movie in comparison to the book. Going to Dave and Celeste. Dave, man, I wasn't. I know you're supposed to feel bad for Dave throughout this entire movie, but I don't feel bad. Like Dave's a fucking asshole to Celeste. Celeste deserves a better man. Also, Dave looks way older. Tim Robbins looks way older than Jimmy or Sean. They're all supposed to be around the same age. Dave's like fucking unk. I mean, Jimmy and Sean are like probably 40s. Dave looked pushing 60, bro. Thought that was an interesting choice for the look for Dave, but here we are. Like I mentioned before, love Lawrence Fishburne in this role. I think him as a side. I don't want to ever. I think we did. Me and my friends did a draft of like the best side actors. Lawrence Fishburne would have been a great choice for that because I feel like he's never the main character, but in a side role, he's always really good. I don't know why I'm glazing Lawrence Fishburne. He didn't even have that much, but I just loved every scene Lawrence Fishburne was in. And maybe that's coming off me watching The Amateur in April with him and Remy Malik. So I don't know. I got Lawrence Fishburne on the brain. I like Lawrence Fishburne in this role. Gonna say that for the last time now. Okay. So yeah, we do get a little bit more into the relationship of Lauren and Sean. Lauren's on some evil level shit, bro. You're gonna call your ex man and just not say anything. That's diabolical. That's straight diabolical. It's very, very like I would not do that. I'm just fun about Sean. You know, God bless it for answering every time. But geez, man, imagine you're a girl, you have a kid, and then the kid's born, she runs away, and then she just calls you on the phone, and that's it. Like she doesn't say anything. She just calls you. I guess it's like if that's truly the one, you can be like, oh, you know, she's still cares about me, blah blah blah. So I'm just gonna hold out for it. You know, we all know some people that have simped a little bit too hard in our days, but that's just diabolical from Lauren. So here we go with Dave. Obviously, you know, we're meant to be in the dark the whole movie about what happened with Dave and what happened to Jimmy's daughter. And Dave plays this pretty bad. Like, I know that one, there was a scene later when he's getting interrogated where he kind of gets the leg up on them. Um, but why change your story about what happened to your hand? I feel like that's really dumb. And then Celeste is also like playing into the or supposed to be part of this ruse, and she's a fucking horrible actor and liar. I mean, you know, we get that by the end of the movie when she does her thing, but yeah, they did a good job because I was like, Celeste, you're being a dumbass right now. And more into this Dave and Celeste relationship. Dave, I know this is like not cool to laugh at because he's been through a lot. Um, but this line is, he says, I can't trust my mind. That's something you want to hear from your spouse. I can't trust my mind. Jesus, man. And it doesn't seem like he's getting therapy. I don't remember seeing him getting therapy or anything. Like, I think the whole point with Dave is he's internalizing it, doesn't ever talk about it, what happened to him as a kid, and then he lets it come out in this like sort of rage. Um, yeah, whatever. But when you're Celeste and like he's crashing out and he says, "I can't trust my mind," it's like that would make me scared as fuck. So I would be out like Celeste was. There you go. And then the big moment of the movie is when Celeste confesses to Jimmy what's going on with or what happened when Dave came home that one night with the blood on his hand. And it's just such a death knell for Celeste to tell Jimmy that she thinks Dave killed Katie and about the blood. Like, you know what you're doing, Celeste. And I think this movie actually does a very good job of what's the word I'm looking for? Criticizing Celeste. And, you know, I I did empathize with Celeste a little bit more in the book, but in the movie, like she wasn't very empathizable, if that's even a word. It was like you're being dumb, and it is fair for her to like crash out over like her husband potentially being a killer. Like, let's be real here. But I felt like she was just doing like doing too much. I don't know. It was just I don't know. I didn't love it from Celeste. This movie. So it's and you know what you're doing. You're telling Jimmy like Jimmy's mobbed up. He's got mob ties. Let's be real here. Um, so what do you think's gonna happen? Like Jimmy's got the frickin' brothers too, which I don't know. If the Savage brothers are supposed to be like this huge thing. I think that's what they're called, but they're not really a part of this movie or the book, which was weird because when I talked to my dad about it, he's like, all he would talk about is the Savage brothers, and there's like two scenes with them. But I don't know. Dumb decision by Celeste, in my opinion. I think you know what you're getting yourself into. You're basically asking for Dave to die, and maybe there is a part of Celeste that was like, "Fuck it," Dave dies. I take the boy, and we ride at dawn. It gets me out of it. Don't have to deal with Dave anymore. I don't know. I don't think that was on her mind. I think it was just like a moment of weakness, but you can't go back once you tell her something like that. Um, and then we learned, the true killers were Johnny and his friend, or no, is it? I forget who's the brother and who's not. Um, I'm missing a whole part of. I forget the names at this point, but Kevin Bacon when him and Lawrence Fishburne go up to the apartment and disarms Johnny, it made me actually laugh out loud when he was like motherfucker. I don't know why. I don't know. I feel like I don't know. I feel like lately I've just been enjoying life, so everything's just been like funny to me. I don't know. I've been laughing a lot more at movies and at TV show. So that's good. Positive update for the Dubcast here. Jimmy, um, obviously, the whole scene of them at the bar, and when he gets confronts Dave about trying to admit that he killed Katie, this was no Dave was cooked. Like I can't criticize Dave for this at all because you deny because he didn't actually fucking do it. But the second he says did it, then he's dead. So Jimmy gave Dave no outs there. He wanted him dead. He wanted an answer, which is fair. Um, but also like I don't know. I don't think there's ever. I think it's the tragic. This is the tragic story. There's no real right way to go about this really. So Jimmy is gonna kill Dave, and that's it. Like there was nothing Dave could say, and maybe Dave could tell the truth about what actually happened that night. Um, but I don't know. It feels like there wasn't really much Dave could have done to get out of that situation and still be alive at the end of this movie. That's why I'm saying like for Celeste to tell, it all adds up. Weird sound effect when Jimmy shoots Dave. Just thought that was odd one to throw in there. And then Jimmy's face when he realizes that he killed Dave for no reason at all. Once Sean brings him the true story of who killed him is great. And then he stalls thinking of what to say to Sean. And, it's a good grill where he's like, if only you'd been a little bit faster, but you just killed an innocent man. Like this was a crazy heel turn for Jimmy, who we're supposed to I think we're supposed to empathize with Jimmy a little bit. Like, damn, um, he has no remorse for what he's done, which is makes him. He's like not even a villain throughout the whole movie, but at the end you're like, this guy's fucked up. He just killed Dave for no reason at all. And Dave's been through it all, man. And Dave crashed out and did kill somebody, but it was a child molester. Like he did the same shit you did. It's hypocritical. I think we're meant to hate Jimmy after this, and I do. Like Jimmy was an evil motherfucker by the end of this movie, and to like kind of taunt in Sean's face is fucked up. I don't know. And then we end this movie out. Annabeth, Laura Linney's character, didn't talk about her much throughout this review, but she's on some psycho shit, dead ass. Like she's like comforting Jimmy, like you did what you had to do. There's it makes sense because there are like you hear of evil people all the time who have people who know what they're doing and don't care. So Annabeth, like whatever, but it was like very jarring. Like the end of this movie got very jarring very quickly. Where like Dave dies innocently, Jimmy doesn't give a fuck, and like is even proud of it almost, or has to live with it for like half a second, but then moves on instantly. Taunts in Sean's face. Annabeth is like with him 100%. So it gets very like whoa, whoa, whoa. And we got poor Michael on this float by himself. I think that's Dave's son. Jimmy is just an asshole after Sean makes the gun symbol at him. And I wonder if there was ever like a thought of a sequel to this, but I think the story is perfect the way it ends. I'm sure in like 30 years they'll just make a sequel to this for no reason. But I don't know. I thought this was a good ending. It's like one of those endings that you don't feel great about, and I think that's great to have in a movie where usually the good guys win, and there's some sort of peace, but there's not really peace in this movie. Like what happened happened, and that was it. They did get the killers, but an innocent man died in the process, and that nothing's ever going to happen about that. So overall, I did kind of call this movie out for not being as good as the book, but it was still a pretty good movie. I'm going to settle at an 8.3. Think this movie definitely deserves an 8. There's some standout acting. Sean Penn, didn't have a high opinion of him coming in, but I thought he did a great job as Jimmy. And I think Kevin Bacon fits the role of Sean enough and did a good job with what like. I feel like Kevin Bacon's a hard person to take seriously in a movie like this, but he kept it going. Tim Robbins did a great job as Dave as well, even though I thought his appearance was a little bit older than I'd expect Dave to be. Even Marsha Gray Harden I think Gay Harden plays a great job doing Celeste, and this movie keeps you in it, even though you know what's going to happen. You want it like coming in from the book, you're still entertained throughout. I didn't think there's really a slow part of this movie. There's just more scenes that I did read the Dennis Lehane on the back of the book. He's like, there's the small scenes like we didn't get to see Sean visit his parents. I thought that was a great scene in the book, and there's a bunch of other stuff that doesn't happen, but it would be nice to see a little bit more of the book involved, but I know you can't do it all in an on-screen adaptation. You're already at 2 hours and 18 minutes of runtime. So 8.3 for Mystic River, definitely a good movie. Would recommend it to everyone to go check it out, even if you don't know what happens, even though I kind of just explained what happens, but there's more to it that I didn't really get to throughout my thoughts and reactions. But I thought this was a really good movie, 8.3. Good job to Clint Eastwood. So where does this movie relate to the rest of the Dubcast movies so far. So this is our 74th movie review, coming up on number 75. And this movie at an 8.3 ties Nightcrawler, The Devil's Advocate, Sinners, and The Revenant. And I would take the first three, Nightcrawler, Devil's Advocate, and Sinners, over this movie for sure. But I do have this movie over The Revenant slightly. So that brings it to number 22 on the tier list of the Dubcast so far. And we do have we have a Clint Eastwood directorial movie to compare it to, which is Unforgiven. I gave Unforgiven a 6.3. So this becomes the best movie directed by Clint Eastwood, beating that in 8.3. This also beats out The Amateur, which was a 7.8. I mentioned the Lawrence Fishburne movies. So, you know, right hovering around eights for both Lawrence Fishburne movies on the channel so far. And this does lose out to One Battle After Another, 8.4 Sean Penn movies. So far, the movies reviewed so far on the Dubcast, Sean Penn's not done a bad job, 8.4, 8.3 in both those roles for Sean Penn. So that's where we wrap up with Mystic River. I'm sorry for my fans. You know, I've been on a hiatus and I've been excuses, but it's time to lock in. I've been seeing a lot of motivational TikToks. We're back. Movie reviews are coming. Social media, I got to get on that, make it better. I have 6 movies to review. We're going to change up the way we do some movie reviews. You'll see that in the next movie review that comes out. We're not going to, I'm not going to float around and make it longer than it has to be. You know, I'm going to be concise. I'm going to be entertaining, and we're gonna rock this thing. So I'm excited for what the Dubcast has moving forward. If you're here for the first time, we do NFL streams weekly covering last week's games and also making our predictions for the next week. And then I'm also covering other things. The Survivor coverage has dropped off because the season's been ass. I've been having computer problems. UFC 322 is happening soon. I don't know when this will be posted, but we did a prediction for that with Shane, hopefully. And we cover every UFC main event. We cover a lot of sports events. You know, mostly football, but we dabble into other things. And the shows have stopped for now. But if I ever catch up on my shit, on my movies and my shows, we'll do some live show reactions. We'll do episodes. You know, if you guys are here and are stay to the end of this video, please let me know down below in the comments what you want to see. I want to be more appealing to the fans. You know, I think for the first 2 or a year and a half of the Dubcast have been, this is what we're doing and that's it. But I want to hear that from the fans, what you guys want to hear, because y'all are the people keeping me going and you're all the reason that this will be successful to me. So yeah, a little bit of rant there, but it's been a while since I've done a movie review. So we're back and I'll see you in the next one. Be easy, y'all.